Welcome to Tracking the Wolves. I'm Blake Day with Northern State University Athletics. Filling in today for Ben and Shayna, who are a little busy this week with finals week. Let's get to some past results for Wolves Athletics. This past Friday, Allison Kusler scored a career-high 29 points as the Wolves women's team knocked off Minnesota Crookston 74-71. Kusler shot 71% from the floor, going 10 of 14 with 5 rebounds as she played every minute of the contest. The next night, Saturday night, the women's team knocked off Bemidji State 66-53. Once again, the Wolves were led by Allison Kusler with 17 points. On Friday night, the men's basketball team also defeated Minnesota Crookston with a 79-64 victory. Trent Zomer led the Wolves with 24 points and 14 rebounds, and Sky Warwick also had 16 points for the Wolves, hitting 4 three-pointers. On Saturday night, the men's team defeated Bemidji State 75-59 in Walks Arena, in their best defensive outing of the season. Trent Zomer led the Wolves in double figures with 14 points, while also pulling down a game-high 7 rebounds. Tydan Storrusten also added 12 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists for the Wolves. The victory moves NSU to 9-2 overall and 4-1 in the conference. And in wrestling, the Wolves had a tough one down in Chadron State, losing the duel 28-9. That puts them at 1-1 in dual meets on the year. Now, Anthony Bruno, Ian Muirhead, and Joe Gomez all picked up victories for the Wolves. And now we're going to go to some messages, and we'll come back with an interview with NSU men's basketball coach Paul Sather, as well as student-athlete Tydan Storrusten.
NCAA championships are something special.
Filled with memories we will carry with us for the rest of our lives.
We ask that you cheer hard for your institutions.
Acting responsibly and courteously towards those around you.
In the spirit of sportsmanship, enjoy the game, and let's provide our student athletes, coaches, officials, and fellow fans the respect they deserve.
Welcome to Tracking the Wolves. My name is Josh Moon, Director of Athletics at Northern State, and today we have head men's basketball coach Paul Sather. Coach, we are officially a couple months into the season here. I don't know if we're quite the halfway point, but it seems like it's just flying by so far. Give us an update of where you're at in the season.
Well, you know, currently we're 9-2 overall. We're 4-1 in our league. We've had 3 road games on the road at Moorhead, on the road at Mary and Minot. And then we just got done with a sweep of Bemidji State, and with I think it was Bemidji State and Crookston. So we're wrapping up here before Christmas break with a home game with Minnesota State Moorhead to kind of wrap up the pre-Christmas part of the Northern Sun schedule.
Now we've had, I guess the unique thing about this team this year has been, it seems like every night there's been a key contributor, a different contributor that stepped up and taken on a leadership role. You know, talk about I guess first the seniors and what you've seen out of them so far, and then kind of that I don't know what you call it, but each person stepping up on a different night.
Yeah, you know, we've got a lot of different guys, and it does start with our seniors in Jared Hannigan and Trent Zomer. We depend on Jared a lot defensively, and we always have, and he's one of those guys that does a great job kind of taking out one of the better scorers on our opponent's squad. But Trent, I think, has really stepped up, and he had a great weekend. 24-14 against Crookston, and followed it up with about a 14-7 or 14-8 night against Bemidji. Those two guys, they've got a lot of experience, been through a lot of different games. But I think our depth has been really important. We've got a lot of different guys off the bench that have stepped up for us. We've got a lot of different, from inside guys to perimeter guys. I think any night we could have 3 or 4 different guys lead us in scoring. And, I think several nights we've had 5 to 6 guys in double figures. And pretty much everybody we put on the floor at some point in time has been able to contribute offensively. But I think it goes along with our offense, our motion offense, a lot of passing and cutting. And with an emphasis of getting the ball inside, we've done a fairly good job of sharing the basketball and playing unselfish. How does,
for the fans out there that you have the Friday night, Saturday night, back-to-back games, and a tough thing to do to come back after maybe a grinding win on Friday, to come back and turn around, 10 hours later you're playing again. How does the student athlete really understand that, embrace that, get the rest they need to come back and play, a 40-minute game again?
Yeah, I think our depth is really important there, and it helps us. I think you saw that with a team like Bemidji State going from Friday to Saturday, not having the depth that we have. They had 3 or 4 guys play well over 30 minutes Friday night. And we didn't really have anybody reach. I think we had one guy reach the 30-minute mark on Friday. And it's an experience thing. I think when you're new in the league, whether you're a junior college, a 4-year transfer, a junior college transfer, or a freshman, it's something if you haven't experienced before. It's difficult going through it that first time. So I think we've got enough veteran guys that have been through those wars. And even our young guys like Darren Paterka, redshirted, he's kind of been through that grind of seeing it, living it a little bit with the travel, as has Michael Schreiber. And so those guys have been through it. Spencer Pankinen's a young player. He's been through it. So our bench has got some good experience, even though they maybe haven't got a lot of game experience. And that's really helped us because I think depth throughout the year with fouls and with travel and Friday, Saturday games, the bench is going to be important.
Let's shift gears and talk about your signing class this fall. You signed 2 student athletes, both from Minnesota. Both were involved in the AAU circuit and had some ties to some of our current players. Talk about our signees from the fall.
Well, Jake Johnson from St. Francis, their team's off to a great start. I believe they're right around 5-1 on the year. They had a tough loss the other night against a very good Shakopee team. Jake's doing really well. He's right around 16 to 17 points a game. He's a big forward. He's making some threes, but he has an impact on all parts of the game, from defensively to rebounding to the way he can score inside and out. But his team, they press a lot. They're kind of a full court team. A lot of possessions, a lot of points, a lot of turnovers they're forcing. So it's kind of a fun style to watch. Ian Smith, their team's off to a great start. They had a really good win against a highly rated Osseo team. I think they're 2 in the state at the time. And then they turned around the next night and they beat the number 6 rated team, Eden Prairie. And they beat Eden Prairie pretty well, which usually doesn't happen. That guy does a great job. So both they're off to a great start team-wise, and individually I think they're both fulfilling their role really well and helping their team be the best team they can be.
Well, and a fun fact about Coach Sather, he is a Vikings fan. So
yeah.
He was tweeting away on Sunday with the Vikings' big win, right?
Big win. It's kind of nice to sit, kind of expecting to get whipped by the Eagles, and kind of just sit and watch. And really, I thought a very well-played game by Minnesota. I'm not a football guy, so to speak, but pretty clean played. And it's fun to watch a team when they're playing at a good high level. And I thought fun to watch the Vikes when they're playing like that.
So those breaking tweets, yes.
Yeah.
So keep up to the Vikings with Coach Sather, because he is a great analysis, and the 48 points, and there's something in there. So great week for the Vikings, great week for Northern State basketball. Next weekend, or this weekend, the 21st, we close out the 2013 calendar with a game against Moorhead, a travel partner, big rivalry game there. What's the message to the team this week, because we played Moorhead only 3 weeks ago?
It's fresh in our minds, and I think we did a lot of good things defensively guarding Moorhead. We got them to miss a lot of shots. The only problem was they got over half their misses they rebounded. And a lot of those misses they rebounded, they put back in or got us in foul trouble. We've just got to play a lot better game, not just defensively, but closing the possessions with a rebound. They got 18 offensive boards, and it's hard to win those games, especially when you're not doing the same thing to them. And I think we're a better team than we were when we played them the first time, and it's going to be fun to see, how our guys respond. It's a great opportunity for our program because they're a good team. They're undefeated right now. We're both kind of battling for that, getting some of those top positions in the North and setting ourselves up for an opportunity to win the North and fight for a conference championship.
Well, this weekend, big night for Wolves basketball, 5 and 7. So have a women's tipping off at 5 p.m. Another key game against Moorhead, and at 7 o'clock we'll have the men's game. Hopefully we can get 4,000 fans there. We had a big crowd last weekend, but it should be a great way to cap off the fall semester here and build excitement for the spring. So get out, support your Wolves. Go Wolves.
We know you want family-friendly sporting events.
Sporting events where you can be comfortable
and entertained in a positive environment. Watching great individuals and teams compete.
With commitment, effort, and good sportsmanship. That's what the Division II Game Environment Initiative is about.
Be a part of the excitement and find out why. These student athletes say with pride,
I chose
Division II.
Welcome back to Tracking the Wolves. We're now here with NSU basketball player Tydan Storrusten. Tydan, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, no problem. It's good to be here.
All right. Well, first of all, congrats on a good weekend. 2 big wins this weekend in Walks Arena. Normally we would say good win, but honestly, in this conference, it seems like every win is a good win. So, basically, let's kind of start off just kind of breaking down the season a little bit. You guys start off the year going down to Creighton for the exhibition contest. 2 games down at the Sanford Pentagon against Central Missouri. Lost a nail-biter there. Very well could have been a victory. 1 point loss there. Came back the next day, beat Missouri Western. So let's kind of talk about those 3 games first, I guess. The Creighton game, the 2 games down at the Pentagon, obviously some different competition that you're seeing. Just kind of talk about those 3 games a little bit.
Yeah, it was good to, get out there, and after been practicing for, I think it was 2 weeks, get out to play some, different competition rather than, the friends that are on our team. So it was good to get out and, play those. Obviously, Creighton's a really good, Division I team. I think they were ranked within the top 20, a couple weeks ago. I think they had a couple losses, so they're not in it anymore, but they're really good. And then, at the Pentagon, it was good to, play some, Division II teams that we're not familiar with. And I think the biggest thing we wanted to do is just, really compete, work as hard as we can and, take as much and learn as much as we can from those 2 games. And we lost that close one, and then we're able to come back the next night and, get a nice win.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we kind of switch gears a little bit. You've got 4 games at home then, 4 non-conference games. You've got Dakota State, Dickinson State, Mayville State, Jamestown. Talk about those 4 games, I guess. A lot of new faces for you guys. You lose 3 senior starters, so obviously you're breaking in some new guys. You've got Darren Paterka, redshirt freshman. Michael Schreiber, didn't play last year. Yourself, coming off, a couple years of not playing. Carter Evans, we can talk about him. He hasn't played a whole lot so far, but just talk about what those 4 games mean, to kind of get familiar with each other. It's kind of a real new team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we only have 2 seniors on our team, so we're relatively, pretty young in that aspect. And I think, those non-conference games are, really good to, kind of like you said, is just to get that feel of the game back, where people are moving, where we're cutting, how we're, moving around on defense. I know a couple of those games were a little closer than, some of the people probably wanted to see, but it was nice to see us make some plays, down the stretch, that we really needed to make in order to win a couple of those games too.
Absolutely. And then basically now, we talked about the last couple of weeks, we're into conference play now. Go up to Moorhead, conference opener, lost a tough one there on the road. But then, the next week, bounce back, get 2 big wins on the road at Minot and Mary. And then last weekend at home, having Crookston and Bemidji here getting 2 wins. So, we're 5 games into conference play now. We got Moorhead back here on Saturday. I guess kind of talk about maybe the conference season so far, as you guys are 4-1 at this point.
Yeah, we're had a tough one up in Moorhead. I think we really executed our defensive game plan really well, and we just kind of lost the game simply on the boards, you know. So I think, you know, looking forward to this weekend. I think if we can, you know, imitate that same sort of defensive, you know, intelligence and urgency and stuff like that, and just clean it up on the boards, we'll be sitting pretty good. And then, yeah, it's good to always, you know, anytime you can go on the road and get a weekend sweep is really big in this league. You know, no matter where you're going, it's really hard to get, you know, a win, period, and let alone two. So anytime you can go on the road and, you know, get a sweep, it's awesome.
Right, absolutely. Well, let's kind of switch gears a little bit. We'll kind of talk about you a little bit now. Obviously, you're in a unique situation here where I hadn't seen you play before. You know, and I've been here a little over a year now. But talk about you coming off the double ACL injury, correct?
Yep,
to the same knee. I mean, and they talk about you are the last player here that was recruited by Coach Meyer.
Yep.
We correct on that as well.
Yep.
So I mean, just talk about the process for yourself, really, of coming, you know, missing a good portion and now coming back and getting in the flow of things.
Yeah, you know, it's been a long kind of, you know, rocky journey the last couple of years, but I mean, at the end of the day, you know, you just got to keep grinding and keep, you know, working, try to do as much, you know, rehab and, you know, stay committed to that as much as I can. And, you know, we've got a great athletic training staff here with Sean, and, you know, he's done so much to help me get back to where I am, and, you know, the coaches and everyone has, you know, really been great and really supportive of all the teammates. So it's, you know, it's been a long journey, but I, you know, learned a lot about, you know, myself and everything else. So I don't think I'd change much of it.
Very nice. All right, well, let's keep talking about you a little bit here. Give us maybe a special talent about yourself, or maybe just something that everybody really would be shocked to know about you.
Oh, geez, I gotta think here. I am probably one of the best fantasy football players you'll ever.
There you go.
I got
okay.
an amount of knowledge in the fantasy football life. So if anyone else ever needs any advice of who to pick up or who to trade with, I'm the guy to go to.
Very nice. Okay. Let's talk about. I hear you were a pretty solid high school quarterback as well. You had possibly some pretty decent guys after you for football as well. Is this true?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's something there
Somewhat true, I guess.
I mean, yeah.
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 I mean, yeah, I played football in high school. I really enjoyed it. I had some opportunities to play in college, but at the end of the day, I just kind of went with what my gut feeling was with, you know, coming here and with basketball. So.
And that's what we'll switch gears to as we kind of finish up here. Is what did bring you to Northern? What was the deciding factor? How'd you end up playing basketball? How'd you end up being at Northern? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I think, I mean, the biggest thing is, you know, just kind of the culture overall as a, you know, a program, I think. I mean, I did a lot of visits with a lot of different programs, and, you know, I think Northern really separated itself with, you know, just being around the players that were there at the time, and just the overall community. I mean, leading the, you know, nation in attendance, and so many years that, I mean, it's fun to obviously play in front of people and, you know, come to a program where you see yourself fitting in too.
Very nice. All right, well, we'll wrap up with basically tell everybody what's your major, what's the plan when you're going to graduate. I know you have another year of eligibility next year, and then what's kind of the career aspirations for you, I guess, if you know them at this point.
Yep, I'll graduate in this coming May, and I'll still have 1 year of basketball left. So, I mean, granted everything holds up with everything, I'll get my master's or start work on my master's that last year of eligibility, and my major is finance right now. I'm going to do my undergrad in finance, and you know, I'm not sure where I want to go career-wise exactly right now. There's a lot of different options. I'm still kind of debating on what to do. Maybe something in administration, or, you know, maybe along coaching lines. I'm just not quite sure yet.
All right.
So,
well, hey, thank you very much for joining us today, and we thank you for joining us today on Tracking the Wolves.
NCAA championships are something special.
filled with memories we will carry with us for the rest of our lives.
We ask that you cheer hard for your institutions.
Acting responsibly and courteously towards those around you.
In the spirit of sportsmanship, enjoy the game, and let's provide our student athletes, coaches, officials, and fellow fans the respect they deserve.
And welcome back. Now let's take a look at this week's QDOB Athletes of the Week. And it is Wolves volleyball player Kelsey Chambers and men's basketball player Sky Warwick. Kelsey Chambers is an outside hitter for the Wolves volleyball squad, as she was awarded third-team All-American status by the AVCA a week ago. Chambers helped lead the Wolves to their first ever national ranking and second NCAA postseason appearance. She's also the first NSU player to ever receive AVCA All-American status, and Chambers was also selected to both the COSIDA and Daktronics AVCA All-Region teams. Warwick, a sophomore on the men's basketball team, averaged 13 points on the weekend in the Wolves' wins over Minnesota Crookston and Bemidji State. He also tallied 6 rebounds in the games, going a perfect 4 for 4 from the free throw line as well. And Warwick also connected for 6 3-pointers to lead NSU to 2 victories. And now for upcoming events for the Wolves athletics. The men and women's basketball team will be having a doubleheader this Saturday at 5 and 7 in Walks Arena as they take on MSU Moorhead. The next wrestling meet will be January 8th as they head to Jamestown to take on Jamestown College at 7 p.m. And the NSU swim team, they'll be off for a little while, but on January 17th and 18th, they'll head up to the MSU Moorhead Dragon invite. And that's it for upcoming events. Basically, we want to say thank you to Coach Paul Sather and to Tydan Storrusten for coming on today. And go Wolves!